Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Oh my God. And Yasher Koach to you. Oh my God, what you've managed to lead over this year. Unbelievable, incredible, and so wonderful to see. You know, you can't have every single face on the screen. And if I'm going back and forth, I'm not going to concentrate on what I'm talking about. But I tried to look and know that many beloved friends are here today. And so many of you have been such devoted practitioners in this process. And IJS has just been here in this amazing way, thanks to Mark and the others. So that's beautiful. So yeah, it's a year, and I teach and live in Philadelphia and teach at the Germantown Jewish Center. We have some members from who come to our Tuesday morning, and we do a Tuesday morning sit, and we went online on Zoom on this parsha a year ago, Vayakel Pekude. It wasn't Shabbat HaChodesh. It wasn't this particular special Sabbath, but it was Vayakel Pekude. And at some point during the pandemic, I decided I was going to take the teachings that I do, because I teach about twice a month. I do it with another rabbi, Maccabina. And I was going to kind of put it together as a flow of the Torah and the Corona is what I called it. So I want to just read the first little part that I started with, and it's been expanding. Now I have the end, the Vayakel Pagude. So it starts like this: Torah and Corona, the crown of Torah, the Corona of Torah, the virus called a crown. The Torah wears a crown. Does Torah have wisdom for these times? We start the week of Vayakel Pagude. It is the last week in the book of Exodus. We have become a free people, crossed the sea, received the Torah. The tablets were smashed and forgiven. We rebelled and were forgiven. The tablets were smashed and restored. We rebelled and were forgiven. Many of us made it through Purim in person. Little did we know our masks would become our new selves, and we would speak, eat, work, pray, and meditate together on Zoom. What did we begin to learn? What did we learn again? In Vayakel, the word heart, lev, is mentioned 14 times. Men and women are giving their heart to constructing the tabernacle. Every generous heart, they are putting love and attention into every act. There were 100 sockets in the Mishkan. We are invited to recite 100 blessings each day. The word for socket is Eden, Aleph Daled Nun, similar to the word for God, Adonai. Imagine constructing a temporary holy place, one we could carry with us. And the material of construction is blessing, or awareness of blessing. Remember, it is not a permanent dwelling place. It is a temporary God-filled dwelling place to carry through the desert, to assemble and reassemble, much like our lives, which we are having to assemble and reassemble many times. At the very end of the book of Exodus, we read, when Moses has finished the work, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the presence of God filled the Mishkan. And when the cloud lifted from the Mishkan, the Israelites would set out on their journeys. But sometimes the cloud did not lift, and sometimes fire would appear by night. Then they could not move on. They had to stay in place. The book of Exodus, the ageless story of liberation, ends with this fire. It ends with the night. So much loss, confusion, unknown. But the Torah continues, as do we. Then we go on to the next pieces of it. So Vayakel Pagude, and we're building a new Mishkan now. It's called a hybrid Mishkan. We're imagining a hybrid Mishkan. But nonetheless, we are reflecting on holy space and holy time, because it is Shabbat HaChodesh, which means it's the day before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is Passover. So the time is infused with holy place and what it takes to create holy place. And here we are, holy place and holy time. every time we allocate our intention to holiness, to attention, to awareness, to consciousness, we are essentially creating with our hearts, the intention of our hearts, our love, our desire for good. We are creating holy space, and they dance together, these things. They're all connected to liberation. We're talking about in the Parsha and in our lives, we're basically talking about dancing with holy space and holy time. And it's particularly aware this year, conscious space, conscious time, free space, free time, not a slave whose time is utterly controlled by somebody else and whose space is utterly controlled by somebody else. So we're learning to dance between what we cannot control, which is an awful lot, and what we can control. Yeah. So free holy space, free holy time, in contrast to unfree, oppressed, enslaved, negation of our dignity. In contrast, that's oppression. And we're getting closer to understanding what that means on a personal level and a systemic level. And in contrast to idolatry, making a fixed and solid thing for the living presence, for the life force flowing and changing. And it's interesting that we're coming to the new moon, because the new moon is such a magnificent symbol of the life force, of the living force, of the change, which we see when we make holy space, holy time. The Mishkan giving up and moving, holy time, we see, when we sit, we see impermanence, just like the moon, waxing and waning, just like the breath, like a lifetime, like a day, like a thought, like a sensation. So as an invitation for the sit that we're going to do, I'd like to go to one other part of the Parsha. And it's just an amazing piece of it, where at the end of the offering from the heart, Moses makes this proclamation: let no man or woman make further effort towards gifts for the sanctuary. No more gifts, thank you very much. You gave so much, please, no more. So the people stopped bringing. Their efforts had been, then it says, more than enough for all the tasks to be done. So the hamlacha hayta dayam lechol hamlacha lasot otam vehotar. Dayenu, we're getting close to Pesach. But I thought, as a kavanah, as an intention, what if we actually sat with feeling that we are enough? That this holy time is enough. Whatever happens, whatever arises, whatever passes, it's enough. It's more than enough. And really, even maybe putting a hand on the heart and assuring yourself, so much of us feel that we're not enough. We haven't done enough. We're not doing enough. So important just to rest in the place of enough. That's freedom. That's actually freedom. Just feel that presence. The breath is enough. The seat is enough. This moment in this body, the thoughts arising and passing and coming and going, the attention, the concentration, the mindfulness is enough. It's enough. It's more than enough. So I invite us to take this time to sit quietly for about 10 minutes or so with your own being, which is enough. Dayam vehotar. So for the next couple of minutes, if you like, you can imagine yourself just surrounded by the Mishkan, the holy place, in this holy time, the heart opening, the beauty, the loving kindness, the safety, the contentment, the wholeness flowing through this moment. Perhaps you could feel some of that. Just allow that to fill you more than enough. And slowly, with ease and self-care, you can come back to this holy space, this Zoom Mishkan, Mishkan HaZoom. Miracle, amazing wonder. Just appreciating yourself, your practice, maybe just thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Friends, we bring that practice into creating a Mishkan container support for those of us who are in mourning, who have endured losses, those who are observing yard sites, those of you for whom it's your custom to participate in Kaddish. We hold this time and space to hold each other and invite you, if you'd like, to share the name or names of people you're remembering today in the chat box, or if you're on Facebook, in the comment box. And thanks to Adi Stein for sharing the words of Kaddish on the screen, and those who are participating. Join me. Yitkadam.
Yoma divrach irute, yamlich chute, chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav izman karev ru ne'im. V'yishtarach, v'yishtabach, v'yishtar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yishtar v'yitalev Talal
Shmei
Shmeita
Kushaku,
Ela Minkovia
Ela
Tavishirta
Minkovia
Shirkata Benechamata Amiram Bialma Viamdru Amen. And Shay Shlomo Rabba Mishmaya Rabbi Malenu Bialkenu Bimael Shalom Bimama Sesh Shalom Bialkol Yisrael Bialkol Yisrael Amen.
Say Shalom.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks, of course, to Rabbi Sheila Peltz-Weinberg and to Adi Stein for holding our tech Mishkan, as always, beautifully. And thanks to Barbara Drosden for us in today's practice in loving memory of your grandfather, Julius Fried, Zichrono Libracha, may his memory be a blessing. As always, we'll stay on and hopefully extend the practice into the rest of the day through some conversation with our teacher for today, Rabbi Sheila Weinberg, and invite you to stay on. For those who are unable to do so, we hope you could join us tomorrow. Tomorrow will be led in practice. Our Friday sits are always especially lovely. We prepare and enter into Shabbat together. And tomorrow will be led by my dear friend and colleague, Rabbi Sam Feinsmith, at the same time. So we hope you can join us. And next week, by the way, we have also a wonderful lineup of teachers, and including some folks who are new. We're going to be led next week by Cantor Louise Treitman, on Tuesday by Kohenet Kashira Halev Fife, on Wednesday by Reb Brian Yosef Dr. Brooks, on Thursday by our friend Dr. Mira Neshama Nicolescu from Jerusalem, and on Friday led by Rabbi Danya Rutenberg. So of the National Council for Jewish Women. So 5 fantastic teachers, 2 of whom will be leading us for the first time next week. So hope you'll join us for those. And as always, please spread the word to those who you know or you think might benefit, feel supported by this community of practice. Okay, so Sheila, I'm gonna have you join me here. What a treat, oh my God, thank you. I know, speaking for many here, big treat, big treat. So thank you. And I wanted to, I'm going to keep an eye, if people have questions, you want to put to Sheila. For some reason, I'm having a really annoying thing popping up on my computer. Got rid of it. Thank you. It was blocking the chat box. I couldn't see what was happening. Well, first of all, I'm going to put Sheila's website in the chat box for those of you not familiar with Sheila, who has 2 fantastic books, by the way. Surprisingly Happy and God Loves a Stranger. Highly recommend, check those out. There's the website. Happy birthday, Sheila. And here's the question, okay? You know, the upshot of that teaching about the Mishkan, about people bringing, and you know, the generosity, the more. I really would love to hear you talk about this practice of awareness of the instinct and inclination to want more, to feel like there's a need to be more, to make more, to collect more, you know, the drive, which is not, you know, as the rabbi said, you know, we wouldn't be around if we didn't have that, right? If we just sat on our tuchas all day, not much would happen. On the other hand, this is such an essential corrective. And even the Parsha begins with Shabbat, like before Moshe even gets to the Mishkan, where the people says, first of all, Shabbat. Then let me tell you about the Mishkan. Okay, right? So it's important stuff. So what do we deal with that impulse that comes up while we're sitting and doing nothing except being? How do you play around with that? You know, that, oh, there's something I need to do. Oh, there's something I need to eat. Oh.
You know, this is core, fundamental core to our lives, our personal lives, our spiritual lives, our economic lives, our life in the community. And, you know, what they are suggesting in the Parsha is generosity. And what does that mean? So it's an exploration. What do we do when it comes up? We do what we do when anything comes up. we notice it, and we attend to it with loving kindness. We notice if we're being critical and difficult with it, and that is not going to help us. Judging our desire for more is not going to help liberate us from that clutch, that attachment. You're right. I mean, it's a primal insecurity that we have, and our culture really encourages us to want more and to feel inadequate if we don't have more, and if we don't achieve more. Not every culture does that. Not every culture does that. And our culture is really fundamentally destroying the world. You know, I hate to say it, but it's true. We have to reduce our consumption of the earth. So from that point of view, it's a very important internal and external practice. But we can't do it out of hate. And we can't do it from judgment. We have to see this is, oh yeah, let me just feel that urgency. Can I soften them out? This is hard work. It's not a quick fix. It's again and again returning to that place of neediness, of inadequacy, of not enough. And it's not a good place to think. Only once it's softened, once we can feel it and hold it and soften around it, and it softens a little bit, not that it goes away forever, I'm not saying it will, but if it makes a little space for it, then we can think, okay, really, is there really? Can I think clearly? Because I can't think when I'm under that, oh my God, how can I do better? How can I do better? How can I get more? That's not thinking, that's impulse. So the practice, with a lot of tremendous amount of kindness and acceptance of that part of ourselves, softly allows more conscious thought or freedom to emerge. What will be the wise thing to do next? Do I have to indulge this? Okay, let's make a little space. Let's breathe it and feel it. And sometimes it's painful to feel it, but feel it with kindness. So, you know, that's the meditation 101, 201, 301, 401, 501.
Mark, you're muted.
Can you two unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, there we go. Sheila, you need to unmute again. I was going to invite us to go into the darker aspects of that for a second, because you said, I think, from my perspective, correctly, that that instinct in us has the potential to destroy this world. I mean, we are basically destroying this world out of that instinct. So this, based on what you just said, what that requires us to do is to love even that part of ourselves, to recognize there's a part of me that I don't know if the right word is wants to, but is willing to destroy the world to get what I want. And every time I do, I do that again and again in little small ways. And, just like the person who said to us when we were kids, they're, better finish what you're eating because they're starving people elsewhere in the world, right? Like, it's matter, everything matters. Can I love that part of myself, right? Can I give that part a hug, right? Because when you said that, I felt like, ooh, why did she have to say that? Couldn't she have said that more gently, But it's true. That's the truth. That's the unvarnished, right? Raw truth. And so when I have that thought of more and more and more, oh no, Sheila Weinberg said, I'm destroying the world. Oh my God.
It's the basics. It's the basic, how much has war and hatred accomplished on the external world or on the internal world? People who are very accomplished and still feel like they're not good enough. They're not good enough. They're not good enough.
Right.
It's not about not having motivation. It's about thinking, seeing clearly, what is mine to do. And it's a lot, it's a journey. It's not an accomplishment. It's an ongoing journey, but we are living in possibly transformational, more than normal transformational time, because the stakes are high.
Speaking of wanting more, by the way, there's a clamor for a copy of the teaching you started with. Gotta have that. Gotta have that.
The thing is, the corona, the corona,
yes,
is a work in progress, and I actually have, it's quite long. But sure, I'm happy to send it to you, Mark. I'm happy to send that little piece to you.
Okay.
That was the first.
We will share that. Okay, and we will share that. Okay. See, everyone can relax. Great. It's enough. More than enough. So that's my other question for you. Here, I'm going to share my screen for a sec. And because I want to actually look at the verse for a sec before we end. Here it is. Okay. That you quoted. Moses, like you said, stop bringing, like the only capital campaign ever where someone said, no more, please. They stopped bringing. And, you highlighted, the meditation was on these two words, Dayam. Let's see if I can get really fancy here. No. All right. So Dayam, enough, like Dayenu, Dai, Vahoter. And there was extra, there was left over. And you, when you were teaching, said, it's enough. It's more than enough. So what's the more than enough? Like, I know that when you said that, my heart softened a little more. If it's enough, how could there be excess? Right? But, I think it makes sense, but it's interesting. It's just like, it's a question that occurred to me, like, what's the difference between saying I am enough or I have enough or it's more than enough? What do you think? I don't know. Ever think about that?
I think we need to think it's more than enough. I think we have to have a sense of more than enough in order to feel that it's enough.
We need, it's like a buffer. It's a buffer zone.
Yeah. It's a buffer zone. So we can come back and say, it's more than enough. Okay, it's enough.
Right. And even if it isn't, it's a little bit less. Okay. All right. I hear you. That's good. That's really good. I like that. Thank you. Welcome. We'll have to add that to Safaria there. I'm sure they need that there. Yes. Here, folks are asking the website. I'm going to put the website back in.
Oh, the website, it exists, but it's very outdated. I am trying to update it. It's way outdated, but the books are for real.
The books are there.
The dates are outdated. Like, I'm doing this in 2018, 2019. Don't worry about that. But the actual stuff about is all true.
Yeah.
And I will be updating it, God willing, in sometime future.
Yeah.
I'm working with the website. It's enough already,
Yeah. Well, Sheila, it's always fun interviewing you.
Yes.
And
likewise, you're the best.
Yeah, you're the best.
Sure.
All right. Mutual Admiration Society here. Everyone can tell. So a lot of love to go around.
Everybody.
How about a group
haven't seen?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's so beautiful. Oh.
And you see everybody?
I'm looking to see everybody. Oh.
There's a group hug for Sheila for her birthday.
Yeah.
Many more, Sheila.
People. Hey. Oh my God. Love you all so much. Oh my God. Really. Mwah.
All right. That's great. All right. Well, Dayenu for me, okay. I'm calling it a day.
We're good.
And thanks, Adi. Thank you, Barbara, for sponsoring for your grandfather. And we'll see you all tomorrow, I hope, with Sam Feinsmith at the same time. Sign up for the retreat. Awareness in action. See you down the road. Have a great day, everyone. Be well and safe.